Hi, everyone. Today we're going to be talking to you about Rift Valley fever. I'm Taylor Albert,
I'm Elana Terner.
I'm Alyssa Rubio.
and let's get into the origins behind this. So, in the origin, you're going to see Rift Valley fever is a zoonotic virus that comes from the phlebivirus genus. You can see that it infects both humans and animals, and it was actually first found in 1931 in a small town in Kenya called Rift Valley, which you'll see to the right on that little map. It happened when a farmer noticed an epidemic among all his sheep and wanted to know what was making them so sick. After investigation, they were able to identify this new virus, or the Rift Valley fever, where they found this is what was infecting those sheep. It was known as an African zoonotic virus as it was mostly seen in South Africa in the 1975 outbreak, Egypt in the 1977 outbreak, Mauritania in 1987 outbreak, and East Africa in 1997. It was then detected outside of the African continent in 2000, where we see it again in Mauritania in 2020, which is the most recent outbreak, which we found. Next, I'm going to pass it to Ilana for her to talk to you a little bit about the transmission of this.
Thank you, Taylor. So, infected mosquitoes can spread the virus in several ways. They can spread it to their offspring and throughout any part of the life cycle. So, these eggs can also, within them, the virus remains viable for several years, even during dry conditions. So, that keeps so that's one way that the mosquitoes can be infected. They can also be infected from infected animals, such usually livestock, and they can spread it to the. They're also responsible for spreading it to the livestock as well as sometimes humans, but the spread is usually more commonly seen with the livestock. People tend to be infected by handling the livestock and coming into contact with blood, body fluids, or tissues of the infected animals, either due to slaughtering them or caring for sick animals. There hasn't been any record of human to human spread. The current outbreak is in Mauritania is thought to be caused by a lot of animals being clustered together. And now on to Alyssa.
Thank you, Elana. For surveillance, they could predict outbreaks of the virus by using satellite imaging, since vegetation growth responds to increased rainfall and variations in vegetation can easily be measured by satellite. Vegetation measurements can be used in a more proactive way to forecast the virus before cases reach epidemic proportions. And there are several steps that can be taken to prevent application of the virus in livestock, such as vector control, public health advice to people to not handle infected animals and tissue, and targeted mass vaccination of animals with the highly effective vaccine available. And in this picture below is a recent picture taken in Mauritania of a vaccine development breakthrough for the virus. And next is response. So there is no official government response, but the World Health Organization is supporting the following public health activities to be implemented to respond to the outbreak, such as regular coordination and technical meetings, coordination of the outbreak response activities that are human to animal interface in all affected regions, epidemiological investigation, reinforcement of diagnostic capacities, preparation of communication tools, and mobilization of resources and expertise. And people can prevent mosquito bites by bed nets, repellent, and proper use of light colored clothing. And public health officials recommend the following risk reduction should focus on reducing animal to human transmission as a result of unsafe animal husbandry and practicing proper hygiene and reducing transmission arising from unsafe consumption of animal products. And as a continuation, as reducing the risk of mosquito bites and avoiding outdoor activity during peak biting times. And there is currently no vaccine or medication to prevent the virus, but there are medications that should be avoided in the early stages and steps should be taken that there are no symptoms. And laterogenic use of medications that enhance the risk of hemorrhagic complications must be avoided in the early stages. And co-infections or alternative diagnosis should be considered and treated. And severe patients should be treated empirically with the broad spectrum antibacterial drugs and anti-malarial molecules according to local epidemiology.
Thank you guys for listening to us talk a little bit more about Rift Valley fever. Anything else, you guys? Thank you guys.